professional as well, I don't know.
We've already blown it, Vic, because we're already recording.
Well, that's par for the podcast, right?
Yet another awkward intro.
Another awkward intro for the Eclectic Soundtrax podcast. Vic and Skunk. All right. And today on the podcast, we have Mr. Bobo the Sequel from the band Skunk Funk.
What's up, y'all? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, dude. Before we get into your music, I just got a shout out to Vic's shirt there. I like that Mastodon shirt.
Oh,
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Are you a Mastodon fan?
Yes, sir.
Dude, for the longest time, like I had, and now going back through some stuff, I may not have had Leviathan, but I thought I had that album, and then I had another older one, which is like Blood and Thunder, maybe, or something like that.
Blood Mountain, maybe?
Blood Mountain. I always get it. Yeah, Blood and Thunder is the song, right? Okay.
Yes.
So, anyway, and I was like, yeah, they're cool, blah, 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 blah. And then I kind of recently rediscovered them, and I'm just like, damn, these guys are really badass. And then I just saw them for the third time. I've seen them a few times over the years, but not too long ago with Opeth, and wow, dude, like they've even upped it even more. Like the visuals were just stunning. It's like really, really cool show. I'd recommend.
Oh, wow.
I think they just played out here in the
they just
Bay
played
Area
locally,
too. Yeah.
actually.
Nice.
I think it was in Oakland or something like that, or San Francisco. One of the two.
So speaking of the Bay Area and all this, you are from Vallejo, California, which is a little north of Oakland. Is that what you said?
Yeah, about half an hour, 40 minutes north of Oakland.
And from my initial, I've heard the band name Skunk Funk before. Great name. I wore my
Oh, yeah, look.
my politically incorrect Pepe Le Pew shirt as a tribute to
Oh,
you.
he's a change man, you know.
He's performed. He's happily married now.
Yeah, he's doing good nowadays.
Yeah, we're all happy that Pepe stopped being a creepy rapist.
Yeah. I do not condone his old behavior.
No, absolutely not. But anyway, so yeah, man, out in all it's not so much in the Bay, but it gets pretty sunny and pretty hot in Vallejo, right? You guys got a little heat pocket there.
Yeah.
I hear.
It gets scorching. You know, when it gets hot, it gets hot. But fortunately, right now it's raining, and we need it.
Yeah, dude, it is. Like that's yeah. I heard it. Not so super. You don't get a lot of rain out here, huh?
Not lately.
Yeah, no.
We used to.
I don't know if it was the last time I was out here, but I was here. God, when was it? That was just crazy
the fires, right?
The fires.
Out there?
It looked like Mars when you looked outside.
Yeah.
The sky was totally orange. When was that? Like a year ago, right? Was that this year?
I believe it was last year during 2020.
I feel like it might have been September or something of 2020. Yeah, it was insane.
And it was just orange all day. Like it never got brighter. It just stayed dark all day. It was.
And then they had like warnings to like stay inside because the air was so,
it was gnarly.
toxic or it
was recall for sure.
Felt like yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I felt. I was like, holy shit, this is Total Recall, the original version. Man, so Skunk Funk, my initial thing, like when I hear that, and there's some Bay Area and Northern California bands that I love, like Northern California, Mr. Bungle. Love Mr. Bungle. You guys are Bungle fans, I would imagine?
Definitely. Yeah, that's right
right
up
on.
our alley. You know, we like.
Right on, dude. For sure got that little taste. And I'm wondering actually too, and I didn't even really know this until fairly recently. I never realized they were a Bay Area band. In my opinion, one of the greatest hip hop bands that there ever was Digital Underground. Are you into Digital Underground? Remember those guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So, so there's some cool stuff like that. And then obviously there was the whole thrash scene and all that kind of stuff, which was huge coming out of the Bay Area. And your music has some of that old school punk, like thrash. I think you call it punk funk, right? You got some of that stuff.
Yeah, definitely like a thrashy, funky kind of feel. We like Mr. Bungle, obviously, and Fishbone and Red Hot Chili Peppers, Sublime, and like Primus. We're kind of all over those. Yeah. And I hear
definitely hear that, especially with the melding of those with the sort of Bungle type thing. And then obviously Chili Peppers is another good reference there. You kind of got that funky. I don't know. It's almost like a California sound. It makes me think of California, right? That kind of sound and that
definitely, yeah.
That,
West Coast,
but yeah,
like
man,
90s alternative flair,
Yeah. So tell us about your backstory. What got you into music? Was bass? You play bass and sing in the band,
yes,
right?
sir.
And what?
I've been playing bass since I was about 17 years old, so that's about 13 years now, 30 now. But I originally started out on guitar, playing in like metal bands in high school and, grindcore kind of bands. We were trying to emulate weird sounding bands like the Number 12 Looks Like You and the Blood Brothers, and then we'd play like kind of the emo stuff too, like from first to last. That's where my music career started, I guess. Just
like guitar and that type of thing, sort of. Well, you said grindcore, and I don't know all these subterms that well, but here's a band. Do you know the Locust?
Yes, love the Locust.
They just fucking played. I was so lucky. I flew in here a couple days ago and they were playing the next night, so I got to see the Locust again at Great American Music Hall. Love that venue. Saw Dead Cross there a few years ago, and so I just caught the Locust the other night.
That's awesome.
And how would you describe that sound? Because I feel like that's kind of what you're talking about, right? In terms of just kind of weird and grind,
weird time signatures,
punk
just
rock,
grindy,
kind of crazy
vocals, and they got the keys in the Locust. That just like ups the weirdness for me.
It's fucking cool, man. Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. I guess it sounds like progressive hardcore punk and a little bit of metal, and I don't know, just chaotic. I don't know. That the keyboard adds a new wave feel to it, but that's that particular band. But
right, yeah.
Definitely liked all that stuff in high school for sure. Just trying to be outside the box a little bit,
That definitely seems like, was that a scene up in here, or is that kind of a Southern California? I feel like I've come across those type bands like in Southern Cal a lot. Does that seem was that scene sort of originated, or do you have any idea on that?
I think that's where it originated for sure.
Yeah.
In SoCal, but here in like Vallejo, Napa area, we have local bands that kind of harness that sound too, like indie thrash, indie metal kind of weird sound, like mixing soft music with heavy music and stuff like that. Like, I really like the contrast, in bands like that.
For sure, man. Yeah, and obviously with your sound, you've done that, and I mean, again, to the kind of the bungle thing, like mixing that. And one thing that caught me right away with some of your stuff was the tones that I really liked. There's a certain guitar, spanky, I don't know how to describe it, sort of guitar tone, and I think it works in conjunction with whatever the bass tone is in these situations. But it really took me back to that first bungle record where some of those Spreance tones, that was produced by John Zorn, and I was like, man, there's the clean sort of ska funk tones on that record in particular. I really like, and you guys really have that sound, and I love that sound for that style of music, that sort of ska reggae type thing. It's really cool, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, our guitarist Max has a unique style in general, and his tone is pretty gritty but pretty hypnotic at the same time,
What do you guys play gear-wise? Are you sticklers for gear? Do you have certain things that you really like and stick to?
I've played a Music Man bass for pretty much the whole time I was in Skunk Funk. So that's been like, and even before, since like 2009. So I've had the same bass for 12 years. I'm due for an upgrade. But I like the Music Man a lot, I got that because Flea uses one. So I was like...
Now, Music Man is an offshoot from Ernie Ball, right?
Yeah.
And we learned from Travis Larson Band, who was on our podcast, that Ernie Ball is right down the road from here, more or less. I think a couple hours south. I never knew it. What was that? San Obispo or some shit? What's that place called?
San Luis Obispo.
Oh, yeah.
That is a mouthful, Sometimes I just be blurting that out, but then you made me think about it, and I was like, San Luis Obispo.
That's the one. Yeah, I want to go check that out, man. There's some places I'm stoked, because while I'm here, I'm going to check out. I would like to. There's a studio in San Jose, or a guy. Oh shit, I can't even think of the name right now. But I've heard some stuff that sounded pretty happening. And there's another studio that a buddy of mine knows some people up in Sacramento, so I'm going to bounce around and check some stuff out. Where do you have a particular go-to for recordings? How does that work? Who do you work with?
Quite a few times we've worked with this guy named Scott Kaminsky, but he goes by Slapwagon in Slapwagon Studios in Oakland, which he's mainly a small hip-hop studio, but we had a unique setup in his spot. That's how we recorded our Cirque du Skank EP. and also the skeletons of our songs from our last album, Skunk Soup. But then, because of the pandemic, we couldn't finish there, so we had them send the stems to us and built a home studio and overdubbed our skeleton.
Sure, man. That's definitely a lot more of that going on. I think a lot of us had to, I mean, it's already moving that way, but for anyone that hadn't really caught up yet to having some sort of home recording software, the pandemic forced that hand, and everyone kind of had to make that leap, which as a modern musician, that's kind of the deal, right? And I think studios are still very valid and producers are very valid, right? And you get that great preamps and rooms and for drums and that kind of stuff. But a lot of stuff now you can do at home, you know, go reamp if you want, whatever. So, yeah. And I think from pre-production standpoint too, right? Like just being able to do all that as a band themselves without, you know, going into a studio, which I don't even know like how many people do that anymore unless you're like some huge act that can afford it, right?
Yeah,
you know,
it gets expensive for sure. So
it gets expensive real quick. Yeah.
It was kind of a blessing in disguise, you know, pushing us to that point.
Yeah.
You know.
So did you shoot it back to that same studio to mix, or?
We actually had it mixed by a guy named Joe Johnston at Puss Cavern Studios.
Okay.
I think that's in San Rafael. I might be mistaken though. But
I don't know where that's at. There's a lot of sands around here.
A lot of sands around here for sure.
Yeah, sand somewhere. Well, whatever. It's in California somewhere. Sand something or other.
Sand something.
Yeah, it was in sand something or other. We mixed in sand something or other.
He did a pretty good job on mixing it. You know, he did just.
Is this your latest album you're talking about? The Skunk Soup?
Skunk Soup, yeah.
Yeah.
And he had done production for Cake and like Deftones and Papa Roach.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think they might actually be in Sacramento towards that way.
Dude, I wonder, that might even be the same studio I'm thinking of if it's related to Papa Roach, because I know someone from Papa Roach used to own this studio or something. I mean, who knows? But are they out of, is that band out of Sacramento, Papa Roach?
They're out of Vacaville, which is on the way to Sacramento, coming from here.
Okay.
Which is going east.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I forgot what I was going to say now.
You're going to try and pronounce another town out there, right?
Nah, I've given up on that. No, I know what it was. I know what it was. I was looking at your website, and when you mentioned some band, it made me think, oh, Cake. So you guys have opened up for a lot of different bands too, right? You've played with quite a few bands in the Bay Area and sort of around Northern California, right?
Yeah, and we actually got the opportunity to play during the first Bottle Rock Festival in 2013, so that was a pretty sweet opportunity, sweet gig.
That's sure. Cool. Right off the bat, too, right? Wasn't that, when did you guys form? Was that when you started?
That was about when we started, yeah.
Okay, cool. What are some great venues that you really dig in this whole area that you guys have? I mean, have you toured much outside of California and sort of the Western states, or is that primarily regional stuff?
We've mostly played here in California, and we've never really touched SoCal before, but we played a lot in Northern California. But our last run in August, we hit Phoenix and Tucson, Arizona, and Vegas. So,
oh, nice. How was Vegas?
Vegas was fun. It's a different beast playing in the heat out there, but it's like conditioning for a musician. So
yeah, right.
A lot of fun.
Were you outdoors?
No, we were playing indoors. And
it's just still like gets you because it's just a desert.
It was all right. There was air conditioning in the Vegas venue and the Phoenix venue, but Tucson was the hottest. They just had the doors open there, and I was like, oh. That works.
yeah, it's funky indeed. What are some of your favorite venues in the Bay Area, in Northern California? What are some of your favorite places to play?
Oh, man, that's a good question. We like the Gilman a lot. That's a good place. The 924 Gilman in Berkeley, the legendary punk club. And we've played... it's hard to pick,
What are some places you played in San Francisco much?
We've played at the DNA Lounge. That's a pretty cool place to play. Yeah.
Okay.
We played Grant and Green. Bottom of the Hill we played one time. That was pretty cool.
Now, are these places, do you know, are they still open? Because I know some venues went under, through this whole pandemic, unfortunately.
I believe those 3 are still open.
That's good to hear. I feel like things. Well, obviously, I was just at a show the other night, and I mean, it's very different out here, Vic, as you would imagine, than it is in Texas. I was like, because we had gone to a baseball game last time I was out here, and it was like, yeah, you got to have your vaccine card, blah blah. And then they're like, yeah, whatever, go fuck, And like we're like, oh, okay, I don't care. But like this venue, they were not messing around. It was very much like they checked our vaccine cards, our IDs, they took our temperatures. Have you guys been playing? Are you experiencing that, or have you not been playing?
Oh, we've been playing, and some play like lately. I mean, I guess we've experienced it like 1 or 2 times, where it had to be a vaccine card or a negative COVID test.
But it's not always that way?
No, it's not always that way.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Yeah, no, a few shows out here, they're like the requirements are that you have to have a vaccine card, whether, it's the card itself or a couple pictures. But I guess it depends on the act that's coming through. Maybe it's dictated
I think that maybe sometimes the venue, but it seems like the act. Yeah. Because I was hearing about a Foo Fighters show out here, and it seemed like everyone had to. And you had to be vaccinated, right?
They were not messing around on that one. Nope.
Right. Huh. Yeah, so.
But I saw Thundercat at the Ace of Spades at the end of November, and it was vaccine or negative test too. But it seemed a little more lax.
Where's that venue at?
That's in Sacramento.
In Sacramento. Okay, yeah, it sounded familiar. Cool. So when did you guys, I mean, obviously everything shut down and everybody shut down early 2020. Ironically, that's when you had just put your record out, right? Didn't that come out in January of 2020?
No, we just
or no, it was this year. My bad. It was this year.
We were working on it during 2020.
You were working on it.
Yeah.
You already said right in the stems and that whole. My bad. But so were you guys really kind of in the studio mindset and laying off of playing live, or were you playing much? And how did the pandemic affect you other than kind of the way you approached recording? How much did it affect your live playing?
I don't think
momentum and stuff like that.
I don't know if we played. I can't remember if we played. I don't think we played live once in 2020. Yeah,
right.
I mean, we did at the beginning. Like we were on a good roll there in like March. A week later,
right when it just kind of yeah. Yeah. So when you put this record out in Skunk Soup in 2021, then were you able to get right on it right away, or were things? I mean, it's because it's been. What's it been like out here in California? Been like a little more shut down, or like when were you able to sort of get back to somewhat of a normal regiment of playing live?
I think that happened. The first show that I went to, I personally, was in April. I saw Zion at this venue. That's one of my favorite venues. I just thought of it. The Longboard Margarita Bar in Pacifica.
Okay.
And then we played there in July, and it was a sold out crowd. So.
Nice.
Started opening in April and started going up from there. And then July was like the peak, and then it started like shutting down again, like in August. When we weren't here, we were in Arizona and Nevada. So but when we came back, it was like stricter than before, than when he'd left, before.
Yeah. Is everybody in the band from the planet whatever?
Technically, yes. That or one of the moons.
So you guys were all hovering around the same solar system, and that's how you met?
Yeah. It's a funny story. We're actually here to confront our actual selves. We're just alter egos of the writers of this music, and we're here to tell them to keep us alive, because if they stop writing, we're going to disappear. So.
That sounds pretty good to me, actually. I think that's more accurate than most of us, musicians and songwriters. So congrats for that. And
we're just trying to play in the multiversal sandbox a little bit. That seems to be the thing these days.
Well, yeah, and it keeps it fun and fresh, right? I mean, it almost feels like everything's been done, right? I mean,
yeah. So
there's always new things happening, I guess, but it seems like it's pretty hard to reinvent the wheel. But I think, me personally, like, I love sort of putting my, dipping my toe in different ponds and getting inspiration from different places and trying different things. It keeps music fun and fresh, Mm-hmm.
And we came up with the whole Cirque du Skunk comic book feel after we made that video that we made in 2018, which is probably.
So do you have like guys that you work with for that, specifically for animation and graphics and stuff like that?
We've worked with just quite a few people, just our friends. Like our first full length album, Possession for Sale. That album art was done by my cousin Jared Roses, and Cirque du Skunk's album art was done by a tattoo artist friend of mine named Jordan McGrim, and he does like
cool
anime type art too. And recently, our Skunk Soup was just a picture that we put together. That was kind of DIY. But our most recent release, Mandatory Vacation, was done by our friend of ours named Amber Crouch. So we just prefer to like friends and family or people within our tribe and circle and stuff like that.
That seems to be how it goes, and that's always great when you get a good circle that's working for you, man.
Mm-hmm.
And people you know and trust all kind of have the same goal in mind.
For sure.
Yeah, speaking of your latest single, too, man, which just came out, November, right? It's brand new.
Yep. It came out on Thanksgiving. So.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that's a great title for our times, Mandatory Vacation. You got the vaccine card.
Yeah.
Basically, right?
It was a ploy to make people double take. They're like, what? Oh, okay. I agree with that.
Is anybody offended? Is anybody?
No, not so far.
I'm gonna come to one of your shows and be that offended Texas guy. This is against my constitutional rights. You damn hippie California reggae bands.
But sir, don't you want a vacation?
Not if it's against my constitutional rights.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. I did a video, Vic, when I never put it out, and I should have, because it's fucking hilarious. I was really on point. When we went to that baseball game, right, and they had zip tied seats.
They had what?
They had and Sarah loved it because it was social distancing.
So
right?
every other seat was zip line closed.
Oh. Well, they had sort of
they were
they would have
seats, right?
The folding seats, and you would have two or four for groups of people, and then they'd have a couple. And frankly, it's like, fuck. I mean, I'd say in a perfect world, that would be the case everywhere, right? Because who wants to sit next to people you don't know? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I thought it was awesome, but then for whatever reason, because I'm me, I started going into this character. Like Sarah was filming, and I was just like, "Hey, I'm going to tell you this zip tied chairs," and I was going off on this whole forefathers at baseball games bullshit, and I was like, this is pretty good. I should post it, but offend more people.
I'm sneaking in my clippers next time. Justice.
Sneaking in my it's weird because there's all the vaccination stuff, but man, flying out here was the most lenient I have experienced air travel in a while. Like for a while there, it was just of course, nail clippers, we got to throw them in the trash. Everything is, everything's a weapon, and take your laptops out. Now they're just like, oh yeah, you don't have to take your laptop out and this and that. And I was like, I have a bomb in my shoe, and they're like, it's good, go.
Yeah,
it's just totally, we trust you.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. Yeah, actually,
you have to wear masks on the plane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Look here, I'm going to tell you, man. This mask stuff, I've been, and it's interesting. It's interesting when you are in a place as human beings. It's natural for us to, conform and adapt, and whatever the case may be, right? So you just get used to things, right? And now that Texas is kind of I was just like, fuck Greg Abbott, and whatever, just because I got real sick of the yahoos. I don't like them on both ends of the spectrum. I'm not going to start ranting, but
they're just crying all the time.
But at a certain point, it's just like, God damn it, dude. By the way, I know I'm ranting kind of all over the place, but dude, I saw. Finally, I did fall asleep, not because it sucked. I was just tired, but the new South Park post-COVID episode. Have you guys seen this?
I still need to watch that.
I need to watch it. Yeah,
it's fucking fantastic, dude. It's fantastic. I mean, those guys are always.
They're masters at their craft. I'm sure
they're masters, absolute Absolute master. I had actually rewatched Team America fairly recently too, and then I saw that on Plex or Netflix or whatever, and I was just like, oh shit, I gotta watch. Dude, it's so good. They call masks chin diapers. But I mean, dude, here's the thing about masks, right? Like, my thing with masks is, like, I'll wear them. Look, I don't have a problem with people wearing them. I was very adamant about it, and now that I think that, especially pre-vaccine when it was new and we didn't know, now it's like, there's a vaccination option, there's this and that. I'm not going to not wear it if I'm required to wear it. I don't have a problem with that. But anyone that's kind of like whined and bitched about wearing a mask, I'm like, dude, if you don't wear glasses, fuck you. Because wearing glasses is the worst. It's like it's constantly fogging. It's the worst. And I definitely am at a point where, like, God, I hate doing this shit, you know? But at least now there is a vaccination option available, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and that's what it should be, like, man, an option. You know?
An option, yeah.
That's where I'm at.
My thing is, you know, when you have all these folks, talking heads, saying, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. But, you know, outside the cameras, they're not doing any of the stuff they're telling you to do.
Right. All hypocrites, man.
Yeah. So, yeah.
The irony is that it creates pushback either way. And I think that's what's so unfortunate, is because people that would just, if a lot of people were just like, hey, on the side of caution, like, if we just sort of got, like, good actual advice that we could trust, that didn't have some sort of potential hidden agenda we were worried about behind it, or some sort of, you know, it's always about.
I think that's the silver lining in all of it, though. We're realizing we can't. I mean, we've known it for a while, but we just. I hope we go. I
hope so.
Most of society just goes with the Joneses, and I hope we don't fall back into that. But I don't think we will in the same way after this, because we have trust issues.
Yeah, I would like to think that most citizens are reasonably intelligent, self-thinking citizens, you know, and they're like,
if you decided to get vaccinated, you like masks or not, whatever. I'm sure all of us, most of us, are like kind of just like at the edge of our seat.
Yeah,
at this point,
I think I think the majority of people out there are normal and realize that.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And it's the fringes.
It's the loudest ones that are on that are the most extreme, that paint the picture of it, and then and
then the news decides, all right, which one of these guys is the most sensational? You're on. Right. You got the job. You got the spot.
And so we're gonna. Exactly. And this obnoxious asshole is the loudest and most ridiculous, so we're going to represent this entire demographic with this asshole. And that's completely inaccurate. And you're right, it's all about money and ratings. It's such bullshit.
Well, you know, what's funny is I was listening to Matt Taibbi, right? It's kind of independent journalist, and he was talking about, it's funny to hear, you know, one extreme side. When one guy's in office, they're like, I'm not going to take that vaccine. I don't know what's in it. But then the other guy gets in the office, and they're like, oh, you need to take the vaccine. It's like, well, I mean, come on.
I know. It's like mind games.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, vaccines are nothing new. And I personally don't have a problem with it. And I think, you know, in from a sort of the absurd potty humor satire that South Park demonstrates, like the episode they had about Apple or whatever, and people not reading the contracts, and then they were like, there was like a centipede of people attached to each other's buttholes or some shit. Like, oh, it's in the contract. Yes. But I mean, like, that makes a point. Like, I think those things all make a point, is because you have, like, the odds, I think, of people that are like, I am not even joking, like, within 10 years probably, right, a decade or two, it's like everyone is willingly giving away all of their information, willingly, like, everything's right here on a phone. Pretty soon it'll be a chip inside of you or in your eyeball or whatever the hell, right?
It's
not
here.
Like this. It's already here.
Yeah.
And people are like running around having sex with robots and talking to Alexa and all this bullshit, right? Yeah. And it's like, and then you're worried about the government injecting you with some kind of track. Fuck off, dude. Like, that's ridiculous. But I think the reason people get so, like, willing to take up arms and, by God, you're not going to vaccinate me, is because they are worried about, like, how intrusive and how much of a big government is. But I think if people were just, or the whole mandate thing, and I think if people were just like, hey, this is like a good idea, you should probably do it, and then kind of like a lot of people are like, yeah, I guess I'll get a vaccine. I don't know, maybe not. But to me, it's bizarre, because it's like, we eradicated polio, right? As far as I'm aware, but you know, aren't that what vaccines are for? But I understand not trusting government. I do understand that.
I think the original polio vaccine was like an oral capsule or something, and that was starting to go wrong. Then they went to shots or something, as the story goes.
No, that's true. That's another reason too. I understand people not take. I mean, dude, I'll be honest. I took the J&J. I was talking to some people last night, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I had a little fever. Didn't do, it about killed my ass." So I get that, like, but thank God, like, I had the booster, and I was like, Pfizer, and it was just like sweet. Like, I was a little tired, and that was it. So I got down. Have you guys done the boosters yet?
No, I just got the Pfizer vaccine.
First one.
And I was like tired for 3 days.
Yeah, I just haven't. I've been trying to like not eat like shit. That's what I've been trying to do. And exercise.
That's very non-American of you. You're not American.
No,
like our forefathers exercised.
Cutting down to 3 cheeseburgers a week.
Fight the British.
2 Krispy Kremes a week.
Yep, right. Coffee every day. Guilty.
Yeah. Lack of sleep.
The usual.
The American way. The American dream.
The American dream.
You got to get some sleep to dream, though.
That's true.
Wise words from. Now I'm like thinking of your real name, but I can't think of your stage name. Bobo. That's not right.
Bobby.
Bobby is your real name, but what is it? What's it, something the sequel? Not Bobo. What is it? Bobby the Sequel?
Bobo the Sequel.
Bobo the
Oh,
Sequel.
it is Bobo. I had it right. Okay. Don't worry, man. Don't take any of this personally. We fuck up everyone's.
No, it's all good.
This is actually going relatively well, I would say, Vic.
I think we're smooth sailing, man.
I think we're all right, man.
At least you weren't calling him Kara for the most of the podcast.
Oh, dude, I saw Caravan Thorn the other night.
Yeah,
it was. I had a blast. It was a great show.
Ugly sweater judging contest, right?
Yes, I was one of the judges. It's like me and 3 girls were the judges.
Nice.
And it was great. And like a dog won the sweater contest. I mean, the guy, a girl also, but it was Patsy, the golden retriever, was adorable. But I digress. Let's get back to Skunk Funk over here. No, man, I went through a whole episode where I had this. There's this band called Caravan Thorn, right? And they were on our podcast, and I met the girl. I totally knew her name was Carrie, and they got on the podcast. I'm like, hey, we're here with Adam and Kara from Kara, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not your name. Fuck, what's your name? Like, this is like happened. How many times, Vic?
Oh, we're like 63 episodes in, so it's like 61 episodes, maybe.
Yeah, did I forget people's names?
Yep.
And I mean, I don't. I have smoked a lot of weed.
There's a Kara and Caravan, so I'm not too mad at you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I can't be held to.
Kara from Caravan Thorn. I don't know. Like, oh, my bad.
I fucking love it out here with the whole like smoke weed. Who gives a shit? It's fantastic, man. Like, I don't know. I would imagine with Skunk Funk, you guys are hip on
oh, yeah.
Right?
I love my Backwoods, It reminds me, I don't know if you guys have seen that little Arnold Schwarzenegger spiel about, he's like smoking cigars. He's like, my wife told me not to smoke my stogie, but her father introduced me to stogie. So how could you tell me not to smoke it? I smoke my stogie anywhere I want because I'm a stud. I don't have to find a hiding place like you.
Dude, Arnold's the best. Arnold's the best. Like, he goes like, have you ever seen that movie Pumping Iron?
I was just going to say it, yes.
He's like at the end of the thing, he's like smoking a fucking joint with like fried chicken and shit. And I love that part. There's a part in that movie where someone says something about drinking milk, and he's like, milk is for babies, I drink beer.
Oh man, that guy.
That movie's amazing. I have a story about that. Whenever, Vic, I know I've told you this. Like, whenever I was actually in my workout phase, and I got in this like super health kick, and it felt great. I felt and looked way better than I do now. But it's the irony of that is like I got it. I was like watching like bodybuilding videos and like watching all these like health things. And one night I was like, oh man, I'm gonna watch fucking. Pumping Iron, and I ate an entire box of Oreos when I watched Pumping Iron, and just the irony.
You're like, yeah, I should get to that.
Dude, that's gonna be me someday. Oh.
I should really stop.
Yeah, I'll start. Dude, it's always tomorrow. Like tomorrow, as I eat popcorn.
You're like, milk's for babies, milk's for Oreos, dude. Like,
that's right.
It's Milk's favorite cookie.
That's what I heard, man. Dude, fucking Oreos that's some dangerous shit, dude.
It is.
It's like Lay's.
And then they tried to make the thin ones and like it matters. I'm like, no, you're just gonna eat more of them.
Yeah. It's like you're going to grab 2 or 3.
Dude, honestly, and they've got so many flavors of Oreos. It's insane. Like it's my brother's wife she actually started an Instagram with for Oreo flavors.
Totally forgot about that.
She's had like every Oreo flavor ever, and then she'll just like leave them, go take them all to company parties or something. But yeah, they've got some really good stuff and some really bizarre, like absurdly stupid stuff. But just the regular Oreo can't be beat. Yeah, I don't need it double stuffed. I don't want it thin. I don't want this. I don't want that. You know, barbecue potato chip Oreo, whatever. Like, I want a regular fucking Oreo.
No red velvet
Barbecue potato chip.
Red velvet Oreo.
Pumpkin spice Oreo.
Pumpkin spice Oreo. You know that shit's happening right now, dude.
Oh, no, I've seen it in the stores.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Some things can be good, but most things, no.
I say we get some skunk funk Oreos, man.
There you go.
Little extra something in there. Little good. The center's green, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll eat those.
100 milligrams per Oreo.
Oh, yeah.
It's so scientific out here now. It's crazy.
I know.
Man,
When did that happen?
Dispensaries, and they're like, it's all official.
I was like dabbing when it was like
here's
black market, and now it's like mainstream.
Right.
I'm like, I'm gonna just smoke real weed now.
Yeah, I was getting like really good edibles for a while, and then that fell through or whatever, like wherever those were coming from. And so then I started just like, smoking again, which I haven't for a while now. And now I was like, I can get gummies and stuff out here, which is like better for the voice,
Yeah.
I shouldn't probably be smoking all the time, but
Yeah.
I tell you what, man, it's nothing like just ripping off a bong, getting the job done nice and quick.
Do they have all the stores like they do in Vegas? Because I've seen the videos, like all the different shops in Vegas. Like the under glass cases, and somebody that comes out and like, oh, if you want this,
it's amazing.
It's cool. We've had them like before it was legalized. We just had to get a fake ID before. Oh, medical card. My bad.
Medical.
Some people.
Everyone's got medical
It's very
problems.
good medicinally for people that really, really need it.
Name
It helps
one
my
person that
pain,
doesn't have.
I don't need a medical card.
Seriously.
For it.
I'm mentally ill. Oh, well, you look like it. Get in here and get some fucking weed, dude. Shit.
Like my eye kind of goes this way when I look up. Can I get some weed?
Just like walking with a limp. I hurt my back. No, dude, I'm not even that shit though. Here's the thing, like with weed, it doesn't always necessarily. I wish it did. If it did, I'd be high all the time. Like if it like alleviated pain. But back to Vic's point, like at the end of the day, I mean, the earth has the resources for us, right? For the most part, weed, marijuana being one of them, used in the correct way, blah blah blah, right?
In conjunction with others,
but like a good. Right, and a good diet and good moderation and physical activity, sunlight diet, all these things in the right moderation and balance is like you're gonna feel better. But when I was on the plane here, man, my knee was like spasming. Like I had this like sciatic pain, and like I was just like, oh, I'm so miserable right now.
Yeah,
and I think like, yeah, they should, dude. You know what they should have? I'm okay. Like back to the mask thing. If it's something like air travel where you have some nasty, flimmy, coughing little kid and that kind of crap. Fine, let's all wear a mask. It's a federal thing. It's crossing state. Like, I don't know about private businesses and people losing their jobs over. That's kind of fucking crazy,
that's ridiculous.
Right? I think that's ridiculous.
And like,
but I'm okay with it on an airplane.
Hurt for looking.
But also, I think they should give us.
Like, weird.
But I think they should respect. If we're going to have one rule go international, then we should have other one. I think everyone who flies should be provided with a mask and an option of marijuana gummies. And that would make that fucking flight a lot better, man.
And throw in a shower and deodorant, because some of those people
DO checks for sure.
Yeah.
Man.
We're gonna need to check. We're gonna check your vaccine card. We're gonna need to check your fucking body odor level.
That is a Skunk Funk tour rule. Before we got in the car, or, coming back from Arizona, I'm just like, DL check, everybody.
Everybody shower.
Everybody wash your ass.
Or we're stopping and buying some. No, in fact, I got some. I got 2.
No, it's good to have the deodorant on tour. There's always that one guy in the band that's like, there's always like that one guy that like wakes up early and showers every day and is way too happy to be awake early. And then there's that guy that just won't wake up until the absolute last minute, so therefore never, showers until like the rest of the band's like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, That guy is me.
Throw you in the pool with some shampoo.
Hey man, hot tubs.
We're filming a Dr. Squatch commercial. Get in there.
It's for the new music video, man. Sorry, gotta do it. Oh geez, where did that bar of soap come from? I guess you might as well use it.
It exfoliates, man.
That's how you get them. Oh, it exfoliates. Oh well, I'll look good and gleaming on stage.
Like, you sweat already. You already do.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy how hot you get. I always wonder, like, sometimes if I shower, if it's like a local show and I shower and go, I'm like, why am I bothering? Like, other than like trying to like make my hair like not look like as shitty as it looks, you know, okay, maybe I'll have a little volume in my hair. Like, that's my only reason for showering nowadays, because like you immediately, like, no matter what the circumstances are, when you're on stage playing, like, you're going to fucking sweat, dude, you know?
I never shower before
hot under the lights.
So I might stink up there and probably at the merch booth or something.
Right.
Like, sorry, y'all.
That's how you know people are legit. This band, like, when people go to buy merch and the band stinks, they're like, these guys are legit.
I'm gonna bottle this pheromone one day if you want. Well, that'll be on the merch table.
Bottle that shit up, dude. Yeah, sign it. Here's my stink.
I'll put like a drop of lavender in it for you.
Well, that's the thing. Like, your brand you can already do that, right? Because you could have little jars of like each member's, scent. You stank.
Dryer sheets.
So
they smell like each band member.
So we got yourself, Bobo the Sequel, Bobby Roses, Max Billion Powers G.
Yep.
Is that how you say his last name?
Sir, that's his real last name.
Brian Cuban B. Roses. Now, this is not your brother?
That's my older brother, yes.
Oh, we got brothers in the band. Okay, cool. And then Nick, is it Little Witty?
Lieutenant Witty.
Whitmire.
We can call him Little Witty, though. I'm sure he won't mind.
Sorry, Nick. Nick's going to hear this and be like, God damn it. I'm not little, fucking damn it.
He's that guy, too. Who called me Little Witty? Oh my God.
I'm a fucking lieutenant.
That's his personality, too. So I think that worked out perfectly just now.
Nice. Little Lieutenant Witty. Shit. Oh, I know one member of your band already hates me. or will. Whenever we get around to putting this out, it'll be like at least 3 weeks, because we're going to smoke weed and forget we did the podcast. And then be like, oh shit, totally. Vic, what did we do?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Skunk Funk. That's right.
Afterwards, just
we won't remember anything. It's like we'll do the write up. It'll be like Little Witty and Company started the band in Vallejo, California in the 1970s.
Man, you're making my wheels turn. I think we got a new song coming on. Little Witty. Walking down the street, Little Witty. The kind I like to meet. I don't know.
Press release, new podcast out following week, press release, new song in the works following week, press release, Lieutenant Witty.
We're going to get sued by the Roy Orbison estate. It's going to suck.
I don't know why this won't leave my brain whenever you said Lieutenant. Like, now I just keep thinking Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
Well, we called him that because we came up with the concept, because he's our OG drummer for sure. But, you can't always make it these days. And we have like a roster of drummers. So we called them the War Drummers. And he's actually from the moon. It's called Drummond from Esoterra. But yeah, they're all war drummers. They're all like militant drummer guys, but work day jobs too. But are ready to go at moment's notice.
You need that, I think, from a practical standpoint, right? And just in terms of making things happen sometimes. Sometimes someone's not available. It seems it's drummers in particular, right? So they're a high demand, and
I don't blame them.
They're a hot commodity, man. Yeah. I have a fucking Rolodex of them. Of lieutenants, captains, they go down the list like, okay, this dude's like my captain. Do I really? I fucking
the general for this gig. I actually had to look that up on Google. I'm like, who's like higher? I think the general's the highest. Then there's like admiral, lieutenant, captain, colonel.
Yeah.
Hey Vic,
the private's the one that gets the drumstick stuck in the hair, right? The brandy guy.
Oh, and the hair. Yeah, yes. I thought you were going to say something else. The hair. That's what boot camp's all about. How bad do you want this? So, hey, when it comes to armed forces, it feels like it's the same ranking system and everything except for maybe the Navy. Am I right in that?
Navy and Coast Guard.
The Navy's kind of weird. Right?
Navy, Coast Guard, and Air Force is a different enlisted.
Mm-hmm. Is it really?
Yeah. So, sort of, kind of, yeah.
So you were in which branch, Vic?
Marines.
The Marines.
Yeah. Yeah.
How come you looked at Vic and assumed he was in the military, but not me?
No.
I love the way he was like, so which were you in, Vic? Well, I guess I did ask you, but I think it's pretty obvious Vic is the one with the military background.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Vic was hardcore, man. Marines.
I've always wanted to play like a show for the troops because I love soldiers.
Cool.
I have a lot of friends and family that are soldiers, and this is one of the things I would say. I'd be like, I love all you guys. I love the soldier. I just hate the complex. Don't hate me.
Well, it's funny is that when you're in, you kind of like talk a lot of shit about the complex too, because there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense, right?
I'm like, word on the grapevine is, I'm just the messenger.
Yeah. But before we started, I was letting Bobo know that I was stationed out in Vallejo, out in Mare Island.
Mare Island.
Yeah. So
I forget that. Yeah. You were Pendleton, but then you came up here, right?
Yeah, I came up here for security training, and then there's a brewery there now, so you may want to check that out while you're out there.
Yeah, let's go have a beer, man.
Oh yeah.
We need to do it, man. Dude, I'm really, really hoping to, and it's still a little bit of a pipe dream, but I started a festival in Austin. I really want to expand it, and I'm hoping to do something in Vegas. And you guys you're a little further, obviously, than LA. Like, how far is it to Vegas for you? Is it like 10 hours or something?
About 8 hours.
Okay. That's not horrible.
It's like 6 hours to LA, 8 hours to Vegas or San Diego. But
yeah, that's the plan, man. And in the future,
we want to play
somewhere
in Texas
between now
next year, though, for sure. We were supposed to last year, but it fell through.
Who does your booking? Do you have someone that does that, or do you guys do
Alexia Johnson. She's our manager.
Okay, cool.
She actually does journalism for Top Shelf Media too. So
yeah, dude, Top Shelf. That's our connection, man. Top Shelf put us in touch, and I think I talked to you through email. I talked to her through email, and I'm glad. And like I said, I just flew out to San Francisco, and a bunch of shit's been going on, and then I was just like, oh shit, I hadn't gotten in touch with them about specifics, but we did have the date and time locked down, so it was all good. Yeah. And I'm glad you saw my email today.
Well, there should be a Skunk Fest 2222 in Texas.
2022 or 2222?
Oh, sorry, 2022. Yeah,
Blade Runner edition.
Blade Runner edition. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, dude. Tell Alexia to hit me up, man, because I'd love to have you guys. I mean, if you guys tour through or it's feasible and makes sense for you, I can definitely help you out. And I want to outsource bands. I want to get other bands, coming in and playing stuff, and I also want to, outsource myself and go to other places and put on events. So that'd be super cool, man.
Yeah, we definitely plan on at least playing 1 or 2 shows out there this next year because we want to link up with this band called Odic Empire that's from out there.
Oh yeah, man, we know those guys. Yeah. My bass player knows those guys pretty well. Yeah, Odic Empire's been crushing, man.
They're killing.
That'd definitely be a good fit for y'all too, for sure. How'd you meet them? How'd you come across them? Did they play out there?
We actually were at a festival in Arizona. We were supposed to perform, but ended up not performing, so we just ended up just chilling and networking. But yeah, we played Viva Arizona in 2020, and that's where we met all those bands. Odic Empire, So Below's another dub reggae band from Austin, I believe. And that's how we got our Arizona connections too. So
cool, man. Very cool. Yeah, it's a small world once you kind of get out there and start networking and meeting people. It's really cool. Yeah. That whole 6 degrees thing really holds up.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. You just got to maintain and keep grinding and supporting each other.
That's
uplifting.
That's it, dude. It's the maintaining. It is. It's a full-time job. You got to stay on top of shit. And there's so many facets the longer I've done this stuff, I'm like, God, man, there's just so many different things going on. So having the support, and it's cool that you guys have a network, you know, and some tight knit people. You got people you're doing artwork with. You got someone helping you with booking, and you know, that's huge.
Yeah, definitely. Because
cool.
At one point, I was pretty much doing all that, managing the website and the bookings and stuff, and it gets exhausting. For sure.
It does. Yeah, because then you go like, Jesus, man, I just want to play music.
Yeah.
I started all this shit to play music, not to sit on the internet all day.
I know, man.
You got more important stuff to surf on the internet than trying to book gigs.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, come on, this is really starting to encroach on my Pornhub time. This is not
I'm
cool,
gonna have to start learning
cool.
TikTok dances and shit. I don't want to do all that, man.
Yeah, the TikTok thing, I'm just... At some point, you're just like, I can only deal with so much social media. Like, how many posts and sites can you... And that's the thing, too. Like, I mean, it's one thing to be like, here's a photo, like, this is happening photo, right? And even that can take some time to put something together and think about it. But, like, all this, like, choreographed videos and TikTok, I mean, it's like, where do these people find the time for this stuff?
It's weird. It's somehow, like, we think it kind of does make it more accessible, but... also not at the same time because it's flooded and you can become dust in the wind so quickly. And then you look at somebody like I don't know, like Madonna or someone hella famous. They post like one post every once in a while, but it's like, oh, she's back. Like, oh shit. Like,
right. Yeah, because they're already famous. If you're already at that level, it's a whole different thing. I think it's a catch-22 because breaking into the new, you know, breaking out nowadays, it's like, yes, you can get on all these platforms and your music is out there. It's way, you know, you don't have to have a record label and all these things to distribute music anymore, right? And it's kind of a digital world in a lot of ways. But at the same time, every single person in the world has the same option to do that, regardless of how much time and effort they've put into learning an instrument or writing a decent song. None of that. So you're competing with everything. You know what it reminds me of? The state of just sort of the world in general now with the internet and with bands and music in particular, right? Is, I mean, you were just kind of being born around this time, but in the 80s, I remember there was like, I remember growing up as a kid and like getting into like baseball cards, and there was like a couple of different, like there was Topps was a company, and Donruss and Fleer, and then all of a sudden there was like a couple more, and then a couple, and then it was like exciting, and people would trade these cards because it was limited. It was you know. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it just became so like oversaturated that nobody gave a shit, and the value of everything went down. And I feel like, I mean, maybe there's some collectors out there, but I don't think any of that stuff, other than the really old school, you know, Mickey Mantles and stuff, is probably worth that much money. Honestly, maybe a few anomalies, but everything got so flooded and oversaturated. And I feel like that's the case for like every fucking thing in the world now, right? It's just like.
It's just
so it's very hard to stand out.
Yeah, it's hard to be like super original, and like we're basically paying homage to each other and mixing all of our influences. Yeah. That's the point we've hit now. So
yeah, and like you mentioned with coming to Austin and networking and meeting someone like Audit Empire, I feel like that's kind of where it's at now. Is like, I mean, it's always been there, right? But I think like bands that are more serious and want to do it on a bigger level, like. That's the first step, right? You got to get out there and you got to grind it out. You know, you got to keep putting out your content and working hard. But like finding those other bands in other places that are doing the same thing and trying to create things with those bands, right? Is because I think it's real easy to just kind of fall into a comfort zone and go, well, okay, you know, and it's like, well, are you really expanding beyond what you've already done? I mean, granted, that's contingent upon if you actually want to or not.
Exactly.
It sounds like with you guys, you sound like you're hungry to do that.
For sure, man. And we definitely plan on dropping a lot more music this coming year since we, finally built our home studio space and, just have access to all these different places to, help us too. What was that?
I was going to say, tell us about that. Your home studio. What do you got going on, gear wise, software wise? What do you have?
At our drummer spot, he has all the drum mics and stuff. And here at my spot, I just have like just a basic interface just to do overdubs, just so I don't have to travel and stuff. And that helps for other collabs and projects as well. But we run off of PreSonus Studio One.
Okay.
Yeah, and that works pretty well for us. And I plan on upgrading to the mastering suite. I'm trying to learn how to do that. But yeah, I just recently got for my home studio personally just a couple JBL studio monitors. They're pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, that's one thing about being out here right now. I'm like, I don't have monitors, which it's nice to have monitors.
Very nice.
Fortunately, I'm not doing like any like mixing, mastering really, but there's like some referencing I want to do, and I'm kind of like, like not having. Although, like, I'm hoping I can maybe bounce into a couple of studios and check some things out and just be like, hey, can we throw up a track, and hear some stuff on some really legit, systems. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Where are you thinking of checking out?
That place in Sacramento that I can't remember the name of, that a buddy of mine knows the guys there. I think it was owned by one of the Papa Roach guys. Supposed to be. It sounds like it's a pretty cool place. Then there is a place here. There's a band in San Francisco that actually is Cold Shoulder, Vic, that we had Marcus on.
Okay.
And there's been some developments in that band.
Nice.
But
yeah.
But they've got dude, their shit sounds really good. And there's a place.
Yeah.
I think the guy might be in San Jose, and it's called, God damn it, Noise Eater Productions or something like that. I can't think of it exactly, but yeah, I was like really impressed with the sound of their music. So I was like, kind of want to check that place. So we'll see. I'm just going to try to contact a couple people and see what's going on. And yeah, if you got any recommendations, who's your guy in Oakland? Or there was a
Slapwagon Studios. And he has like a Studio A and Studio B. I think the Studio B is a little bit bigger and nicer. But we've recorded in this small studio space and made it work.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Like, there was the vocal booth where the drums could fit, but then Nick was just like, nah, it's too small in there. I don't want to do it in there. So we decided to like move the couches in his space behind him where he's mixing and put the drums there.
Oh, really?
And
Nice.
he like opened some doors and put a mic in the bathroom, and
oh yeah,
it was
I love doing
pretty
that.
trippy.
Nice, yeah, dude. Get that natural reverb.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. And we were basically just he had the amp in the front office, the guitar amp, and I was DI, so I could just be right next to the drums.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys were were you tracking together? Or I mean, obviously, like once you started doing with stuff now, of course, right? It seems like you're kind of pre-producing and doing stuff to a click and back and forth and putting it together. Mm-hmm. But when you went in the studio prior to that, did you guys play organically live, or did you do this sort of like scratch tracks and then build it with the drums,
everything
bass,
we've
guitar,
done
like that?
up to this point has been organically live, like Skeletons, just drums, bass, and guitar, just a basic track, and then just overdubs over that.
Cool.
But we want to start.
Nice.
Me and Max, the guitar player, want to start building songs just between me and him to a click and sending them to the drummer and seeing how that jives and whatnot. So we can at least have that somewhat of a click feel. That seems to be the thing these days for. If you want to like send your music to like a DJ or something, and you go, let me remix. Like people have asked us that before, but I don't think it's worked.
And they need
because we've never.
That's interesting. It sounds good. It sounds tight. Like I wouldn't know unless I was maybe really critically listening, or you hadn't told me that. So that's pretty impressive that you're going in there. And do you have a reference? Something that you have in the background or start with, or you just the drummer counts off and you guys just go and capture that?
Yeah, he just
skeleton.
counts off sticks or hi-hat and we just go. Yeah.
Cool. But I'd imagine you guys in the beginning played a decent amount, rehearsed quite a bit, right? And got pretty, obviously you got to be pretty fucking tight to go in a studio and do it that route, which is cool though. It's old school, Mm-hmm. It's legitimate to do that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's like, there's so many factors, right? Especially if you're dealing with DJs, that certainly seems like it would be like, now we need a particular tempo, exact tempo to work off of. But just depending on the style of the music and the desire, like I think it's kind of cool to have that raw for lack of a better word, throwback kind of, vibe to something. Like, it's definitely a vibe thing, right? As opposed to like, you can overly sterilize something to where it's just too pristine, which I don't think makes sense for all styles of music.
No, definitely not. Yeah, we wouldn't like record a punk song, like a thrash song to a click, I don't think.
Yeah.
It just needs the feel. But
or even if you do, I feel like you don't want to like beat it to death. Like, let it be a little, it's okay to be a little loose around it.
Yeah, exactly. But something a little more funkier, I think, would benefit from a click,
Yeah, super tight pocket, yeah. So, what's your gear again? You play Music Man basses. What about, like, what's your rig?
My rig is it's all GK. It's a GK 800 RB head, which is, like, from, like, the 90s, I think. This is, like, one of the better models in the 90s. I don't know. I just got it from a guy.
No, I like GK gear, man. My brother used to play that for a long time. I know my current bass player even has a GK rig, too. I think he sold. I don't know. I can't keep up with what people go through, but I think Sammy plays a GK now, doesn't he, Vic?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Vic's like, what the fuck's going on?
What's a GK?
When's this? When are these edibles going to kick in?
Yeah,
this is boring. I don't care about gear.
Freddy Krueger's musical brother, Galleon.
Oh yeah, I was like, what?
He's like, what are you talking about?
I'm very slow-witted.
No,
Slow down.
That was kind of weird.
No, what? So you mentioned some earlier, just influences of the band in general, which, like, immediately when I heard it, I was like, okay, yeah, I hear that Southern California. Well, I hear the bungle, but then also the Southern California, obviously, Chili Peppers and this funk kind of thing, and ska. What are some other Primus you mentioned? What are some particular, maybe bass or vocal influences that were big for you?
Bass influences. I got a lot of favorite bass players, besides Flea and Les Claypool.
Okay. Oh yeah,
Victor Wooten, Robert Trujillo, Marcus Miller, Jaco Pastorius. All those guys are great.
Yeah.
But vocal wise, I've recently built an affinity for the band Ghost. They're not our style at all, but that guy's vocals seem to be. I don't know. When I sing that stuff, I'm like, nice. I could sing this style.
I could,
and I like their theatrics too.
Yeah, the theatrics are really good, and Ghost is so interesting to me because, man, their merch is through the roof, and they have loyal, diehard fans and the whole thing, and like they've definitely put together a great brand.
They definitely got.
And
me.
yeah, I saw them. Yeah, and I saw them live, and they're good. They're great at what they do. I get the shtick. It's cool. I like it. I'm not like over the top Ghost fan, but I don't hate Ghost. Like they're fine. I like Ghost. Every time.
I was going to say it's different than like you come into it expecting something and they totally it's not what you expect, right? They're very melodic.
Black metal or something.
Yeah, like Behemoth. Like that's like that Behemoth is like holy shit.
Or like Children of
Bodom Ghost.
Yeah,
right. But Ghost is like kind of poppy metal.
Yeah.
but it's real hooky and and then it's
the tones.
That dude, that lead singer Tobias Forge, he's good. The composer of all that. He like hires the whole band and stuff. He used to play in some thrash metal bands, but then he also has like a weird pop psychedelic indie band too. So he kind of like put them together, I guess, in some weird way.
Man, I mean, anyone who can write a song like Year Zero is just so great. Like when you're just singing along like it's a Britney Spears song to various ways of saying Satan. I know. You did something right. It's so good. Beelzebub. It's just so fucking good. I can never get enough of that song. I love that song.
Those are some of my favorite ones. The ones that are, I guess, most provocative to that crowd. I guess.
Yeah.
That reminded me of a South Park episode, the one with the little kid Damien shows up, right? And so in the background, you hear him singing Beelzebub. They're doing the Damien chants in the background. That's what it reminded me of.
Man, I don't know if I may have seen that, but it's not. I'm not recalling.
I want to say I read an article about Ghost, and somebody was asking. Man, I can't remember the bass player. They were speculating that the bass player was some was a really famous girl bass player, and I can't remember who the girl was.
Either from
that's another cool thing about that band.
Pixies, Smashing Pumpkins.
Right.
Yeah.
White Zombie.
Could be White Zombie, yeah.
I think it was the White Zombie. What was her name?
Sean something.
Sean something. I think they were speculating that she was playing with them. So I don't know. I read this a few months ago, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Watch, it's that old lady, Carol Kay, that's like on 10,000 songs. That you know what I'm talking about? It's like
a bunch of session dudes from like the 60s.
Yeah, she's a session bass player, that lady.
Yeah. That's why they're wearing masks and they're all old as fuck and they can't move. Like that's like they're so like tight.
I've recorded 10,000 songs.
Like there's literally like people like kind of like escorting them off stage at the end of the show.
That's no easy feat. We're just like, oh yeah, 10,000 songs. I'm like, I don't know, man.
That's insane,
that's a lot.
dude. One thing about, we were talking about how hot it gets up on stage. Think about Ghost, dude, and those fucking masks, that costumes, like the whole
those
show.
Masks are cool,
and I got to give props to those guys,
yeah.
like being able to play in those masks. Like that's pretty badass, man. Like that's not easy.
That's hard, dude. Yeah, you're basically kind of just going off of muscle memory at that point, I'd imagine. Unless you can see really good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've never been able to do anything effectively in a mask, honestly. Like, playing was just weird and bizarre.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
So, yeah. No, there's a lot going on there, and it's a good. They really put that together well. Or I guess who's the head guy? What's his name?
Tobias Forge.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they're a pretty good band. I don't know. I guess going back towards more of our scene, I like the Expendables if we're going to talk about like California style reggae, because they kind of have that 80s metal feel to them and they do it really well. And yeah, I like ska a lot. That's like one of my favorite genres. I know that's a goofy genre, but
I don't know a lot of ska. What are some ska bands that are?
I mean, it all depends. If you're like talking about 60s ska, it could be like Desmond Decker, Scotalites, and then 80s like two-tone skas like the Specials or like an English Beat or something. Maybe even Fishbone could count into that, but they kind of segue into the third wave, which is like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater kind of ska. You know, like Real Big Fish and bands like that, Catch 22, Skank and Pickle.
Is that like? I like that name. Is that more progressive? Did the bands kind of grow, or was ska from back in the day? Do they have like big on horns and shit?
Yeah, it was basically ska came before reggae. That's where like roots reggae comes from, basically. Like Bob Marley, before he was like super, like when he got into Rastafarianism, he was just a guy singing blues and ska music,
So basically, just slowed down ska. I mean,
essentially,
it's
yeah,
generic,
essentially
interesting.
it is.
I would have thought it would have been the opposite. That's really interesting.
That's what I thought for a while.
I think I heard that somewhere. Yeah, I think I heard that somewhere before. That's cool.
And then ska. So there's that ska, but then like what people typically think of is like ska from the 90s, like
right,
fast and mixed with punk and horns and kind of goofy, nerdy.
Right.
And then it became like the style of music for the America's Funniest Home Videos theme song. So that's where. It just became like commercial music after a while.
Yeah,
then it died, kind of. But it's coming back. We got a lot of new ska bands these days. So.
Scott, everyone had to be like, okay, we got to wait till this Bob Saget shit clears out, and then we'll fucking reemerge.
I think he's waiting for it to clear out too.
And
poor Bob Saget, he's out there trying to do like hardcore like
comedy.
How many F-bombs can I drop in my comedy routine to so people don't? It's like everyone's like, dude, we still know you're like the dude from Full House, like
yeah.
His best role ever though was Half Baked. Like that was Bob Saget's
that guy's stand-up
best fucking
crazy
role.
When he starts,
is it?
That's what he talks about.
Is it good?
Or when he starts picking up that guitar, he just be singing some outrageous songs. That dude, like
Bob Saget, really? I don't know about the guitar part of that. That's interesting. I guess Uncle Jesse taught him a thing or two. Did you want to hear something crazy? So, did I tell you this, Vic? I think we probably talked about this, like maybe on Bull's podcast or something, like because I went to the NAMM show it was 2020 before everything shut down, and I was fortunate enough to be able to perform at the Gibson booth, and Gibson has just come back like with a vengeance, and they are crushing, dude. Like, it's so amazing right now.
Are you talking about NAMM?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. When did you perform there?
I've been going to NAMM shows for years, but this particular one was in 2020, and I got to play the Gibson booth, and they had a huge room and a big stage. It was amazing.
That was my first time at NAMM. In January 2020. So
oh, no shit.
I don't know if I
cool, man.
Caught your set or not, but I was in there at some point.
I was playing with this guy, Bully Los Buffaloes is the name of the band. It's kind of like rock and roll Latin with sort of a Latin twist or whatever. But, so we were playing, we did that, but, where the fuck was I going with this? There was a point to who we were just talking about.
Uncle Jesse, Bob Saget.
Uncle Jesse, right. So anyway,
that came from ska. Doesn't surprise me.
Right. So, but this was so weird, right? So back to Full House, like, what's that guy's name? John Stamos, right? So we go to this,
John Stamos.
We go to this big NAMM show, like, after party thing that Gibson put on, and it was just incredible, dude. Like, fucking Don Felder performed, Billy Gibbons performed, Slash performed, then they all performed Hotel California together, like Lizzie Hale, like, it was just incredible. And but they opened the ceremony, like the very first guy that came out was fucking John Stamos, like playing a Gibson Les Paul, and we were just like, what? We were like, what the fuck's going on? Like, who is that dude? And we're like, that's the dude from Full House. And he's like, and we're like watching him, like, holy shit, he plays guitar. And then you're like watching a little closer, and he's like, no, he's totally not playing that guitar. Like, it was just total. It was like
he was miming.
Total bullshit. Yeah, it's total bullshit. And then he ended up being like the host of the fucking shit or whatever, because way back in the day,
my God.
Gibson sponsored or whatever, right? Like, he always played, I guess, Gibsons on Full House. But it was interesting, yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, it just made me think of that fucking shit.
He marketed for Gibson, basically. So.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's huge. You think of that show. I mean, Jesus, man, it's massive.
Everyone wanted Uncle Jesse's guitar. Probably.
Everybody wanted, yeah. All the guys wanted Uncle Jesse's guitar. All the girls wanted Uncle Jesse's cock. You know, some of the guys wanted Uncle Jesse's cock. It had to find its
way into this conversation at some point.
I'm sorry. I hope your teenage fan base is no. The younger, the more they like it. Oh, you know, anything,
yeah, like grotesque.
If you're
I don't know.
Maybe if you've got your old 50s ska crowds, like, I don't like the language in that podcast.
I think we'll just find haters and lovers all across the spectrum. That's what I've learned.
It's the American way.
Don Felder, man, that would have been badass to watch.
Don Felder,
crazy
Gibson
room.
Yeah.
I think that.
It's fucking. That was sick, dude. It was so cool.
That was the biggest room with the stage. I mean, Fender's room was huge, but it was just kind of like a museum in there. I'm like, I don't touch anything in here.
Speaking of Hotel California, the Eagles are going to be in town in May, I think.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, now the Eagles, what is it? The Joe Walsh, which isn't original,
Joe Walsh,
but he might as well be.
Don Henley, Timothy Schmidt's still there.
Okay,
I think they have Vince Gill now.
I could see that.
And I think they have the guitar player before Don Felder. Well, I can't remember his name.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe I'm thinking Fleetwood Mac, and they got the guy before Lindsey Buckingham. It's one of those.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not Peter Green, right? Is Peter Green still alive?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Anyway. Pause for awkward silence.
Here's a moment of silence.
This is the part where Vic's like, oh, man, now I gotta awkwardly cut this podcast. So, okay, I guess we're getting down to our last little bit of questions. We've been doing a little better about not running on and rambling forever. I feel like we've done pretty good here today.
Yeah, that's what a podcast
Hopefully people
is
will be entertained.
Right?
We just like to ramble. But we've done pretty good. We've talked about the music.
We've talked about society.
Yeah. Oh, I did want to mention that I really dug the Tom Petty cover I saw on the YouTube
Yes.
Oh, thank
channel.
you.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a killer song. Yeah, I love it. Tom Petty's one of my
I'm glad
favorites.
you said that,
He's
Vic.
actually another
Yes.
influence for vocals.
Dude, same here, man.
Yes.
Yes,
That's my
dude,
range
I'm a
for sure.
massive Tom Petty fan. That's so cool, dude. That's so cool that you guys like him. He's just one of those universal guys. I think you could be like into thrash metal or reggae or anything, and Tom Petty just writes great fucking songs.
Yeah, he's a good songwriter.
Cool.
That's what I aspire to be.
Yeah, he's
Like,
a
you can
great
shred all you
songwriter,
want.
man.
I love shredders and stuff, but I love a good songwriter, dude. Like,
Yeah.
to be moved
Yep.
and stuff. Like, yeah.
And y'all did it in your style, which was super cool, man. Like, yeah, it was very cool. I saw something else that I didn't watch it. I want to say maybe it was on your Facebook because I don't think it was on YouTube. Did someone do a cover of Mama I'm Coming Home?
We did
or something?
recently. Yes.
That's cool. I got to check that out, man. Did you reggae that up a little bit, or what'd you do with that one?
We did it same style,
Straight up?
like punk,
Cool.
the punk style that we do. Yeah.
You know what? Speaking of you guys and sort of taking these songs of, classic songwriters and, icons like Tom Petty and Ozzy Osbourne, who, classic rock these days, right? And kind of then putting your own twist on it. One of my favorite bands that I think always did that brilliantly was Typo Negative. Do you know Typo Negative at all?
I love Typo Negative.
Dude, the way that they packaged, like, they got kind of this, this goth moniker, whatever, but you could hear, like, they had the old punk rock roots, they had the metal roots, and they're this love of classic rock where they would always cover these old classic rock songs in their style. I always paid homage to these old, bands from the 60s and whatnot at shows. And I just thought that was a really cool way when a band kind of takes things from the past and you hear the influences, but they reinvent it within their own sound,
Yeah, just stuff we grew up on, just stuff we liked listening to as kids or teenagers or now even. It's timeless music, man. Like those guys.
So a few more things. I wonder if he'll be. Not everyone wants to play ball on this one.
Let's just shoot it from.
I know it's coming.
So we had, for a while, I don't know, it's gotten more tame. For a while, it was like straight up, who are your favorite bands that would be on the Titanic? We were like, that's a little harsh. Like, we don't want people to hit an iceberg and drown just because their music sucks. But like, so now it's the Bermuda Triangle bands. The bands that you just like can't stand, that we could just all put them on a ship and they would just like go out to sea and never come back, Like,
and I've been trying.
Do you have any bands that you absolutely can't stand?
I've been trying to recently.
And if you don't want to say it,
man, I'm trying to be.
I'm talking shit. I get it, dude. I know it's not cool.
I'm gonna think really
cool.
hard. I'll say a particular performance is that recent Puddle of Mud performance of that cover.
Wait a minute, is that the band with that Wes whatever guy? And he's always fucked up on drugs, right? Like he's the worst.
He's
right?
a singer,
he can't ever get his shit together.
Wes.
But that's what it's his band. But he's a fucking disaster from what I've heard, like from drugs. And so was it like a horrible performance because he was fucked out of his mind or what?
No, I don't know. They hadn't played for a long time, and they played an acoustic cover of a Nirvana song.
Oh no, that went viral.
Yeah,
it was so terrible.
It was like Sirius XM, and
it was.
You could see that in the bass player's face. He's just like,
yes. Dude, I remember that. It was what song was it? Do you remember what the song was? Oof.
About a girl.
It was bad.
And like he could have done it in his own style, but he was just trying to be like too much like Cobain. And I'm like,
yeah, you're totally right, man. You're totally right. And it bombed. It just didn't work.
It's like, dude, I would have been like, all right, we gotta stop. We can't. Can we not release it? They released it. I'd be like, no.
That's why bands need good managers and producers to say fucking no.
Like, nah,
no
bro.
way. But then again, here we are talking about it. So these days, I don't know. Like sometimes, like someone does something terrible and they get more famous. In
some weird way, maybe. But damn, man.
But yeah, you're right, dude. That was horrible.
I guess we can have the Island Boys join them too. While we're just on the subject, they can go.
Who are the Island Boys?
Oh, you don't know. Never mind. We're not going to talk about it.
Vic's Googling it, I can tell.
No. It sounds familiar.
Get off Pornhub and get your head back in the game.
It's one of those goofy TikTok rappers.
No, Vic, don't
gone viral.
Google. Don't type in Island Boys in Pornhub. No,
yeah, they're just going to get more views for their SEO. They're already making enough money for being silly.
There you go.
Island Boys.
You know what? Can we just cut this part?
Type that or not?
He's gonna look. I can see it.
Yeah, I know he's already.
No,
looking.
I can tell when Vic's. Oh, you talking about me?
Yeah, it looks like you're looking up.
I kind of am curious. I'm almost a little afraid to type Island Boys.
I've heard the name and I just can't remember. Maybe just because I just blocking them out of my memory or something.
I think you are.
Oh, dude, this looks fucking horrible just from looking at it. Dude, what the fuck? It's like dudes. It's like guys in a hot tub with like face tattoos, and I mean, I'm not saying you have a bad person because you have a face tattoo, but sometimes it doesn't help. It's like
sometimes it doesn't.
I'm 13.
Well,
I'm 13 with a face tattoo. Like that's usually like my music sucks.
These guys just look silly.
No, they look ridiculous.
The hairdo ain't helping.
No, like they got these like hairdos that look like crowns or something. Oh man, this is so fucked up. I'm gonna fucking tell y'all the funniest damn shit, and you fucking call me a terrible person or whatever. I'm not someone's sharing this with me, and so I'm just paying it forward. Oh man, how do I find these girls? There is I don't even know how to say this without being
suspense is real, man.
I'm gonna see if I can find this. Hold on. I'm gonna have to type in some fucked up shit to find this. Hold on.
You can always put it in the chat, and we can just like.
It's not. What do you mean?
No, just the fact that what I just typed is so bad. But okay, I found it. I fucking found it. Okay, I'm telling you right now, just go type in, go to YouTube and type in left cheek, right cheek.
What?
Oh, dude, just do it.
I have my phone right here.
This shit's the best.
Good Lord. I guess I'll have to wait till after we hang up, right?
I might not be safe. Are you doing this, Vic?
What are tiny twins?
It's like these little people rappers.
Oh
chicks.
My goodness,
dude, it's fucking amazing.
They got a song called "Run That Check," so maybe they're.
You think they're going to be on the Willow soundtrack?
Oh, dude, so you went too far. Vic will cut that out. We're gonna help you save face. Willow is a great movie. Do you guys remember there was?
They're doing a new series. There's a serious question.
Yeah, that's right.
No. Willow, like a TV series of Willow.
Disney Plus.
I could see that working. But the guy that played Willow, who I think he was also like an Ewok, he was like super famous for. I can't remember his name.
Warwick Davis.
Do you remember?
Yes.
Warwick Davis. He had a fucking show on HBO or something. Yes. It was hilarious, and it only lasted like a season or two, but it was really funny because it was like, it was about him and like he couldn't get work, and it was fucking like he basically parodied himself and made it this hilarious show.
Yeah, he was
about being a little person in Hollywood or whatever in his career, but it was pretty damn funny. And he would always like bring up Willow and shit. Yeah, it was really funny.
There was one scene where he was trying to buy. He had a date and he was trying to buy condoms, and like the clerk was like looking at him like.
No, that show is great, dude. Like, props to that guy for like, it was awesome.
There's it's on Amazon Prime, but there's a David Hasselhoff TV series that that he did with the BBC, right? So it's like him touring in the UK, and it's a parody of himself where he has a son called Gunter from Germany that he never met, and so he's like touring around, and he gets like kidnapped by these Russian gangsters, and they steal a car that's all. It's hilarious.
It's like a TV. It's like a series, like a
series. Yeah, it's a comedy series. It's pretty hilarious.
Oh wow! I mean, that's good. Like when guys like that can
make fun of themselves,
because they know like you're sort of a parody of yourself in a way.
An anomaly for sure. I just want to make money off of it too. Shit.
So I think Island Boys is a great pick.
For the Bermuda Triangle.
I haven't
That's
heard.
That's where the island is that they're from.
Yeah, that's where the other bands have to go to get punished. They show up and they have to listen to the Island Boys for the rest of their life because they're like, your fucking music sucks. So now you have to listen to these assholes.
You have to audition to be their band, and they'll
right. And you have to get play with the Island Boys
and roasted by them.
Some poor, like, really credible session musician who just ended up in a shitty band for a paycheck, like, ends up on Island Boys Island. Poor bastard.
Oh, man.
All right, we won't ask you for any more unless you really got another. What are you going to say?
I was going to say it could apply to producers too. That's like producer torture. You have to mix and master this to be radio ready without auto tune.
I actually love that idea. I love that idea.
No melody, no nothing. You throw it away.
You were responsible. Look, Joe, producer. I know you got a big paycheck, but you were responsible for douchebag number 426 over here getting a fucking Grammy. You have to go to Island Boy Island and fucking mix the Island Boys for the rest of your life, you asshole.
There we go.
This is your no integrity
just
punishment.
That one song for the rest of eternity.
Yes, over and over.
It's kind of like in Space Jam where he's like, if you lose, you're going to have to sign autographs all day and play one-on-one with the paying customer, and you'll always lose.
That is a great idea.
I heard they were doing I heard they were there's a new Space Jam happening
with LeBron James.
Yep.
LeBron James, right?
Yeah.
I never saw the original Space Jam.
Jabron Lames.
Yeah.
Jabron Lames.
The new version is always the new version. He's always flopping and faking injuries. So
yeah.
I never forgot that. Took a page out of the '90s Utah Jazz book.
Oh
fucking
man,
Karl Malone.
I love the picture of like the dudes just carrying him off, like in a cradle off of the court. Like dude has one person per limb.
I like the one where they Photoshop him on to make him look like Mao Zedong. He has the same haircut as that old school Chinese dictator.
Yeah.
Who?
LeBron James?
Are we talking about the old Space Jam?
No,
LeBron James. You're talking about memes.
You're talking about memes.
Yeah.
Old Space Jam.
Yeah.
I was like really confused.
Holy shit! What universe?
I was starting to think maybe I should, dude. I was like literally starting to think maybe I should watch this damn movie. Like, unfortunately for me, all I could think of is like the theme song is like by a guy that peed on women, and I can't. It's hard to get past that.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus!
Fuck R. Kelly,
he
man.
did a lot more than that. That's tame.
R. Kelly makes it rain on Man Island or whatever it's called. Island Boys.
Man Island.
He serves the drinks.
Yeah. He's there every Thursday night.
You know what sucks is like back to the whole technology thing and like the about how all of our information is tracked. You know what's going to suck? Like tomorrow, we're all going to start getting like messages and like pop-ups on our shit from like. Seeking manly vacation. Right. Whatever, that joke flopped.
Well, that's what happens when you use Google and not DuckDuckGo.
Oh,
you actually use you use some super secret right wing thing that like can't track your shit.
It labels all the cookies.
So no, you're probably right, Vic. What's it called?
DuckDuckGo.
That's a thing, like a browser
that
does
that. You could just use a VPN too.
That too.
Or Onion, right? Or Torrent. I don't know. Onion.
Yeah.
What's Onion?
It's the dark web.
I'm afraid of the dark web.
I'm afraid of the dark web too. I would want it for the privacy aspect, or like the VPN or the .onion database, whatever.
I've already seen things on the web that I can never unsee.
Oh, dude, I can only imagine. And can you imagine going to the dark web? I can't. End up in some weird room. Like, how did you get here?
Can you imagine?
I have your address.
I would love.
I see you. Your camera's on. Look, you want to see the view? I'm like, oh shit!
Just a time capsule where like the forefathers like come to present day, and you just like sit. I mean, these brilliant men that lived in the they didn't even have electricity, they didn't even have fucking plumbing or not, and these guys were they could do everything. Like the Ben Franklins and the Thomas Jeffersons, like they did everything, right? Can you imagine of being like, hey, fast forward a few hundred years, here's where we landed thanks to you guys and your innovations. Plop them down in front of a, fucking computer, and then just like, two girls, one cup, and it's like, yay!
I'm like thinking of,
look what we did!
It's like a short film, George Washington versus the Dark Web. He's like, we need to round up the troops. Martha?
Dude, that sounds like...
Martha!
His hippopotamus teeth just fall right out. Dude, oh my God. I think that sounds like one of the most genius fucking things. South Park's already made it. We missed it.
They're watching us right now. They're like, oh, that's good.
They're watching us. And then somehow the episode's already done.
Oh. God damn it.
Yeah, South Park's gotten one of those things that now, like The Simpsons, has been for so fucking long. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like you can cite just about anything that's ever happened in, modern culture. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Whatever. But they've done it. They've spoofed it. You know what I mean?
Simpsons did it.
Yeah, they're crazy. I don't know how they do that.
They even did that. And Family Guy. Remember the Family Guy? Was that all in the same episode or something?
I don't know. I don't remember if it was or not. It might have been.
Yeah, but y'all should watch that new special, man.
I'll have to check it out.
It's pretty good. They've got like this whole like everything is just fucking so stupid it's in the future, and it's just like there's this ridiculous song that's all like blah, something. We're in the future. In the future. I've just been roaming around singing it the last few days, annoying my fiance. So, last question, maybe. What are your favorite foods? I don't know why I like asking this question, but probably because I love eating. What foods do you like? Or do you have any Bermuda Triangle foods?
Oh, man.
Only on Island Boys Island.
Like some weird Star Wars food and drinks or something. I don't know. I like a lot of food. I have an affinity for chicken tikka masala. I'm going to do Indian. Chilaquiles. I'm going to do Mexican. That's like one of my favorite dishes. Lumpia. I'm Filipino, so I got to love lumpia. Pretty much all Italian food. I mean, and some good old biscuits and gravy. I love.
Those are all good answers. They're very eclectic. Like your music, your cuisine is like your music.
I like a little bit of everything, man. I feel like Mel Gibson in Signs. He's like, fine, nobody's going to eat. I'm going to have a little bit of everything.
Oh, yeah.
Chicken teriyaki, French toast, spaghetti.
That all sounds good right now.
I know, that scene, even though it's like a tragic, depressing scene, they're like their last meal, it always makes me hungry.
Yeah. Like, sucks for them, but I'm hungry now.
Yeah.
Pause.
The aliens are coming, but damn, that looks delicious.
They're just like eating like a bunch of shit when you watch The Aliens. Swing away, Meryl. I would say it myself, but my mouth is full. That's the irony of the movie. Like, the alien shows up and Bill Gibson's mouth is full. He's like,
like, you could have just done this the whole time. Pour some water on him. Wow.
yeah, geez, are we really that dumb? Hopefully, if we get invaded by aliens and all it takes to beat them is water, they don't overthrow the whole fucking planet before one, Hey,
that's their fault. They knew water was
baseball player.
70% of the planet is
Midwest
water.
figures it out.
They fucked up.
Yeah. Stupid fucking aliens. So that's what the message we really wanted to get across on this podcast was fuck the island boys and fuck the aliens. Except for you guys. Y'all are cool aliens from the planet
Esoteric.
Yeah. Esoteric, right.
We're
not stupid.
We're just
aliens.
from the parallel universe. We're harmless. I don't know how we got here. We can't go back until we finish our mission.
Hey, man, where can I get some weed out here? No, I'm just kidding.
Shit, you're in San Francisco? I mean, I haven't been to a dispensary.
Yeah, you don't even have to. You're like, oh, yeah, I can just go buy it legal.
There's a cool, place that you can buy weed and sit in there. It's like a weed lounge. It's kind of expensive, though. It's called Sparks, though. Sparks Lounge.
In the city?
That's the last
What an
place.
appropriate name.
Yeah, it's cool. It's kind of like bougie too. It's like clean in there and shit.
You better take a shower before you go.
I'm sure they don't.
Wash all the airline funk off you.
It's clean and futuristic in the sense of like a Star Wars
I've got back to
cantina.
my lazy self.
So, it looks futuristic and clean, but maybe the people are not always that way. I don't know. Damn scoundrels.
Just depends what part of town. Yeah, scoundrels.
Oh wait, that's me. Shit.
So Dorito.
Theo
check. Tell people where they can find Skunk Funk online.
You can find us
These intergalactic travelers
on either our Linktree, which is just Skunk Funk if you type it into Linktree, or www.skunkfunkofficial.com is our website. That'll pretty much take you to all of our social media and our Spotify and our YouTube, so you can subscribe to us, follow us, whatever you want to do if you're digging us.
Awesome. And now you're talking about, are you guys writing new songs, or do you have some in the can already? Where are you at in terms of like, thinking maybe you'll put out a single or an EP or another album in the upcoming year or two, or where are you at?
We're going to just release probably singles bi-monthly. We're going to try, and then hopefully all that time will lead up to another album next year around this time.
Cool.
But definitely a lot of singles, a lot of stuff already completed, ready to go, record. But we're also writing new music currently, because some of the stuff we've had for a while. We just don't record as often as we'd like to. So. But that's a good thing, I think. I feel like singles are like the name of the game right now.
Yeah, I know, man. Like I'm so pleased. Like I got real stubborn. Like I have to put out an album, and then now it's done, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do singles for like the next fucking 2 years. It's way easier, man. Making an album is a huge process. Like it's definitely an endeavor, man.
And we're definitely, if we write an album, like when we're not gonna rush it or anything. If we can't release it at the end of the year, we just want to actually write an album, not just a set of songs, Right. That's kind of how it goes sometimes. But we actually want to write like a conceptual, like composed album. So we're going to take our time.
Very cool. Awesome, dude. Well, all right. I think we will wrap up here in a minute. I'm just going to let you know that the Melvins. You a Melvins fan?
Yeah, I know the Melvins. Heard them.
Melvins and this band called
years.
Hepatitis is playing Great American Music Hall on December 30th and 31st. I'm contemplating going to one of those shows, man. I'm gonna kick off the new year with a bang. But we'll see what happens. Yeah. So, man, we'll have to stay in touch. I'm curious. I'm going to hopefully bounce around and check out some studios out here, and definitely just upon listening to y'all's music, I'm a fan, dude. It's really cool mix of stuff. I love it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate you both for having me and chatting this long.
Absolutely.
Good vibes, good conversation. But plugging music too. But I just love connecting with y'all. Y'all are cool.
Yeah, man. That's the whole thing, dude. Like the podcast is just fun and relaxed. Shoot the shit, have a good time. And, we've enjoyed it every week or every time we do it rather, because it's just, you're always meeting new people and really getting to know them more personally. And that's a big point I think to make that we talk about sometimes. It's like back to kind of how we can be pitted against each other and things can be, construed as so divisive and this side or that side. And, all this breaking us up into all these demographics and it's like, Nine times out of 10, or 95, 99% of the time when you talk to a person one-on-one, you're like, hey, we're two people. We have the same wants and desires and fears and just human beings trying to survive and be cool. You know what I mean? So I think it's always really cool to personally connect and talk with people and get to know them on that level. And yeah, man, it's certainly been a pleasure, talking to yourself.
Yeah, man. Again, thank you guys for having me. You guys are super cool, and it's just, you guys are definitely new friends of mine for sure. Because you're on the same vibe. Everybody's everybody. We're
right on, dude.
We all essentially want the same things out of life, like you said. our loved ones, ourselves, friends and family, and the world at large to be as good as it can be. You know?
And the Bermuda Triangle bands. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. All that
and all the bad shit over there.
All the shit fucking, all the bad shit goes to fucking
Earth's.
I can't even think of the Boy Island or whatever the fuck it's called. It's so bad I can't even think of what it's called.
Mon Island.
My brain won't, my brain won't even accept it. Proud of that. All right. So on that note, be a good person. Don't
be a dick.
Don't get. Don't make a city to Boy Island, where all things are horrible. But anyway, we've been talking with Bobo the Sequel, the intergalactic traveler of many genres, from the California-based band Skunk Funk. Go check them out online on their website, skunkfunkofficial.com, Linktree, Instagram, Spotify, Facebook, all that good stuff. Be sure to check us out as well. Give everybody love, likes, good comments, all that kind of good vibes and stuff. Once again, this has been Eclectic Soundtrax with Skunk Manhattan and Victor Ramos, and we love you all, except for you Boy Island people. Take care. Until next time.
We'll see you later. Hey folks, that concludes another episode of the podcast. Guest links will be available in the show notes. We'd like to thank our friends at Top Shelf Music for showcasing the podcast on their site. Be sure and check them out at topshelfmusicmag.com for the latest music news, reviews, and events. We'd also like to thank the folks over at Tragan Guitars, Godin Guitars, Ernie Ball Strings, and 5 Iron Woodworks. Have a great week and catch you on the next one.